courtroom left in our courthouse at the moment. So we share it with about 4 other courts at the moment. So what's going to happen at 9:45 this morning, win, lose, or draw, we're going to stop here and we're going to pick up and move to some less comfortable confines down here on the other side of the courthouse, back side of the tax office. So my goal is to try to get as much as we can get done by 9:45 this morning, because the chairs over there aren't near as comfortable as these. That being said, if we don't finish our business, that's quite okay. Let everybody know that we are being recorded this morning. We always record. For the last year and a half, we have broadcast on YouTube at the same time. So if you don't want to come see our smiling faces, you can do it online from the comfort of your home, like somebody named Zach Davis. Anyway, Zach's a little under the weather, so he's going to be the butt of some of our jokes today. I'm sorry, that's how we work. If you don't show up to defend yourself, well, no one else is going to, I'm pretty certain. So we'll start this right on the time of 8:30, because that's what the local government code says thou shalt do. And I do not look good in orange jumpsuits, so we don't do those things we should. Sheriff, what do you know good?
Just staying busy. Last week, we caught a couple of our burglars. One of them was on a makeshift motorcycle.
Thank you.
Out of about 40 different motorcycles.
So basically the Johnny Cash one piece at a time version of a motorcycle.
That's what I thought of whenever I saw the motorcycle.
I've seen him carrying car parts in his backpack. I was like,
He had one of those high-grade camel packs, and he
Yeah.
had his sawzall for cutting off pellet converters in the back of that camel pack.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
And
wow.
then over in Aquila, we caught another one. They bailed off in the field when the owner came out there, so we impounded the vehicle and got over on the phone. So, guys are doing a really good job.
That's awesome. Thank you. I saw him this morning. I had to slow down off the school zone there, so appreciate you getting out there.
I saw one about 3:30 this morning or 9:33, and I was from 80 trying to get to the chainsaw to cut up a tree that fell in the road. And I was like, all he did was turn his lights on, and turn it back off, and I was like, what are you doing out here? At 3:30 in the middle of
Looking for
nowhere?
commissioner, yeah. Now, school's not open yet. I just went up that way this morning to check something out when I was leaving town. It's easy to make a full loop, loop around town. It's nice.
Actually, all 3 minutes.
Takes all about 2 minutes, 35 seconds. to find it, yeah. All right, it's that time. Ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to call this regular meeting of the Hill County Commissioners Court to order. This today, the 10th day of August, 2021. Let the record reflect this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 5.1, better known as the Texas Open Meetings Act, and a quorum of commissioners is present and established. At this time, before any great noble undertaking, may we invoke the blessing of the Almighty. Brother Gillum, can you lead us in the word?
Let us pray together. Our Father, this morning we come to you. We pray, Father, that you would be with the proceedings of this court. We pray that you would be with these commissioners, these county leaders, as they make decisions that affect the citizens, the families, the people who reside here in this county, as well as those who do business here. Father, we pray that you would give wisdom to them, that you would give wise discernment, and that their decisions would reflect the great good. Lord, we pray in your mercy and in your benevolence that you would bring an end to this pandemic so that we may move beyond all of that. And Father, until that time comes, we pray that we would do what is necessary for the good of our friends, neighbors, and loved ones. And Lord, may your presence be felt in this place today. And we ask all of this in the name of Jesus, our Savior. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. If you follow me in the pledge, the American with the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, thank you all for being here today, brother. Good to see you. Be safe in your week. Keep me awake Sunday, sir.
Only if Mark's not there.
I can't exile people anymore. All right, so we kind of went through round robin yesterday. Is there any elected official that's got an announcement they need to make or something they want to let us know? All the silence tells me everybody's just waiting to jump up. Okay, well, in the name of speed again, we're going to start off here this morning at 9:45. We're going to recess and we will come back in at 10:15 in the back room of the old tax office so the district court can have this and do their business. If there's no announcements from elected officials at this time, I'm not going to take up a bunch of time. I'm going to move right into open forum. Is there anybody here to speak to the court on a subject that is not on the agenda today? If you are, this is your opportunity to address the court. If you could, limit your comments to around 3 minutes in duration, and as we respect you, please show respect to the court. I thought you were going to whistle Jeopardy. Oh, okay. Well, not hearing anybody for open forum, I'll give you an opportunity later for change your mind. We're going to move right along into our consent agenda this morning, and that's action on minutes of July 27th, 2021, action on invoices of August 3rd and August 10th, 2021, action on the payroll for July 30th, 2021, and action on the monthly report for revenue and disbursement. And for those of y'all wondering, it was in your packet, that's the consent agenda this morning. Yeah.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Is there any item we need to take off, or additions, deletions, corrections to this agenda? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously this 10th day of August. I'm going to start the paperwork and start slinging it around. That way we can keep up with it to some degree at least. And the first order of business this morning in our court orders is a presentation by Mr. Donald Kelm of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service to give the annual update and introduce a new county agent. Mr. Kelm, you have the time.
Thank you, Judge. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Definitely appreciate you working with me and allowing me to put both items at the same time. And as Judge said, I'm here today. As each of you know, we've been vacant in our family community health position since January when Karen Youngman decided to retire. I did everything I could, no offense to Rachel, but I did everything I could to keep Karen around a little while, but she has watched Marty in his retirement and she decided. So with that being said, I feel very fortunate to be here today to present Rachel Esquivel. Rachel is a Hill County resident. Through the interview process with Zach and Angie and Tyler, we selected Rachel for the position of family community health here in Hill County. As you can see, she's a A&M graduate, also a blend AA degree.
Ag development, there you go.
And her last work was at fifth grade math and science teacher at Frost ISD. So with that being said, I would like to present Rachel Esquivel for the family community health position here in Hill County with a start date of September 1, and it's contingent based on background check and degree verification, and we're in the process of doing that. So with that, I'd like to present Rachel today.
Ms. Esquivel, thank you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the Hill County family. We look forward to working with you. Your position is one of great importance. I know that the 4-H guys and the ag teachers get all the love, but your relationship with the community and as part of our teaching on how we reach out to our community on subjects as important as this pandemic, and on subjects less important, like how to safely can vegetables. All the above. Yours is an important position you hold, and your job to go out and teach those amongst us what you know. So we look forward to working with you. We're here, literally, we answer our phones 24 hours a day. He was up for this morning, so call him first. Outside
I need a nap first.
Otherwise, welcome aboard.
And her responsibilities will be very much similar to what Karen had with family community health, adult programming, as well as the 4-H family community health projects, food, nutrition, clothing, and textiles, and be there to support those projects for Angie. So also, I wanted to, since I was scheduled to come in September, this way I can knock both of them out. My annual visit is on behalf of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service to tell you thank you for the support that you continue to provide Texas A&M AgriLife Extension here in Hill County. Without that support, we wouldn't be able to do the programming that we do here in the county, and I can't thank you enough. On the front, I always like to highlight something that goes on across all 21 counties in District 8. This year, I wanted to highlight something that has gone on across all counties across the state of Texas with the efforts from AgriLife Extension. As you can see, you look through the different information. I won't go through the details. The CARES Act training that the agents did for and worked with county officials, school entities, and so forth. The PPE delivery, you can see how many deliveries. That was just through November, December of last year that we did. The child care providers, when the governor put the program in place where they could apply for PPEs. Extension was the one that delivered it to them. We got it to the counties, and then the local agents got it to the child care providers. When the governor put the program in place where the counties, for the elections, in preparation for the elections, the PPEs, Extension's the ones that got it to each county and to the appropriate elected officials. Then you can see contact tracing from the governor to Chancellor Sharp. AgriLife Extension Family Community Health agents were asked to provide contact tracing assistance. Karen did that during her time last year. The medical supplies, when initially back in March, April, when those military testing teams were testing, we were the ones that resupplied them with PPEs and so forth when they were out and about. Then you can see the coronavirus assistance program and all that we did. Again, that was all done from March, April of last year, and still to this day, we're still assisting the RAC regions with PPE delivery, vaccine delivery, and so forth. So most important thing for me is be able to take this opportunity to brag on my agents here. And next year, I'll be able to tell you what Rachel's been able to accomplish in her first year. But you can see, as Judge said, I'm missing a couple agents here today. Zach is at home, working from home. Unfortunately, he is participating, but he's under quarantine for a little bit.
That's what he told us.
Tyler called me last night with his schedule in that he's out in the field. He had producers, he had to check field. I told him that is more important for you to be out there than here.
We have wonderful line of communication with your people here. I know that the other morning, Zach called me at 7:30, said, Judge, can't take your breakfast. I said, okay, all right. We have the ability to pick up the phone. I talk to Tyler on a regular basis, so that they're not here today. I know they're out doing something good.
Good deal. So under Ag and Natural Resources, you can see a snapshot of what Zach has done the past year in the crop related, the BIG, the emergency freeze meeting, the wheat tour, and so forth. Livestock and forage, you can see the different programs he's put on. And again, this is just a snapshot of what he does. The Master Gardener program, a very big asset to AgriLife Extension. Since Zach has started that volunteer program, you can see the numbers, the programs that they conduct and participate in. Integrated pest management, you can see a snapshot of what Tyler's done with his Blacklands IPM newsletter, Cotton Scouting School, the scouting program. You can see the number of acres, number of producers that participate. And then again, Hill County being one of my stoutest counties in result demonstration and applied research projects. What Zach and Tyler do with the help of those producers, that crops committee, the IPM committee, you can see the number of demonstrations that they have. And that's why specialists look to Hill County when they want to do some trials. One of the first counties they call is Hill County, and that's why, because of the job that Tyler and Zach do. Then 4-H youth development, again, in our 4-H program, the 11 clubs, the enrollment with the members as well as the volunteers, the curriculum enrichment, you can see the number of programs that Angie's done. And again, another snapshot, whether it be curriculum enrichment with hatching in the classroom, the water education, the unique sports fishing program that she and Bosque County do together is super, second to none, with the extension's leadership and the partnership with all the other entities. You can see the numbers in the excitement that those kids have in participating. And then one that really on agriculture advocacy, the youth ag tour that they do between Hill, Johnson, and Bosque County, and try to increase the ag knowledge of those youth that participate in there. Again, none of this would be possible if it wouldn't be for your support, and I can't thank you enough for that support. On the other side, y'all know I always make sure you remember Wednesday, November 3rd. That's the date of the District 8 Judge and Commissioners Conference. It will be in Waco this year. Right now, just finalizing the agenda.
Idea if it's going to be in person or virtual, do you know this year yet?
Right now, it's in person. I talked to MCC. It'll be at the Emergency Services Center. They were disappointed they couldn't host us last year because of COVID. But they were excited, and right now it's in person yet. Again, that agenda will be good, but I can't guarantee how good, but that meal, I will stake my reputation on that lunch. Wednesday, November 3rd, that first Wednesday in November. And again, my head chef is right there on the computer.
I had that
So,
impression that made you do that.
so thank y'all very
Thank
much.
you, Mr. Campbell. It's Rachel, pleasure. Nate, look forward to working with you.
Y'all take care.
You too.
Thank you.
Too. Guys, Angie, good to see you this morning. All right, at this time, we're going to move to the public hearing on the matter of the proposed designation of a certain property in unincorporated Hill County as a reinvestment zone under subchapter C, chapter 312 of the Texas Property Tax Code. This designation will allow for tax abatement agreements to be entered into by the county with owners of personal property, equipment, and fixtures within the reinvestment zone. The property to be considered for reinvestment zone designation is approximately 5,607 acres of land near Itasca and Milford, Hill County, Texas. Such land is in adjoining parcels capable of combination for the use of the project qualifying for tax abatement, intent for production of solar energy. The identification of specific parcels and ownership information is voluminous. Such parcels making up the proposed reinvestment zone are those shown on the publication for this hearing, which has been posted in the paper on our website for some time now, which is available for review in the county judge's office as well, and will be available for review in the public hearing. Further, publication may be viewed at the county's website. The boundary of the proposed reinvestment zone is delineated by the outside boundary lines of the outermost parcels forming the 5,607 acre unit. The reinvestment zone, if approved, shall be Hill County Reinvestment Zone number 7. At this time, we will open this to Mr. Mike Dixon, our counsel for economic development.
Just to kind of give a background of what this is. It's a solar project for a proposed maximum of 400 megawatt AC solar generating system facility and transmission equipment lines. The proposed capital investment is estimated to be over $448 million. The taxable value, the estimated taxable value is a minimum of $340 million. These are very conservative numbers because of kind of not knowing there's a lot of fluctuation in construction and different things right now. So it's made up of 22 parcels. There's been maps and such handed out. The owner of the solar panels and all the property that'll go up is Hill Solar One LLC. This, as the judge said, this would be County Reinvestment Zone number 7. So the purpose of this meeting is we have to have a public hearing on whether to approve this reinvestment zone. And you have a copy of the order in the packet.
All right, at this time, we'll open the floor. Is there anybody from Core Solar that wants to come describe the project for us? Come on.
See you all again.
Please, Warren.
Good. I gave out all of the presentations.
Correct, right here in front of you, gentlemen. Is that what this is?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So I'll keep it short. Myself, Dominic Salinas, I'm the lead developer on the project. Also, energy attorney for Core Solar. Randy James is here. He's the vice president of project execution and engineering. And then our intern, Philip Salinas, came to witness this as well for a learning experience. So Core Solar, I'll go through this quickly. We're based in Austin, private company, privately financed. We balance sheet finance all this development, but we're local here. And we also have an office in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. But most of our development so far has been in Texas. So the principals of our company have over 3 gigawatts, 4 gigawatts of projects that have been developed throughout the country. Right now in 2021, we have 100 megawatts that are operating. So project in Florida, project in North Carolina, And then our Texas projects are starting construction this year, so Andrews County, Kent County. And those are phased projects, so it's the first 450 megawatts of a large phased project there in West Texas. Because of this, some of the transmission issues that have been occurring in ERCOT over the past few years, we've started to try to develop closer to major load centers, Dallas and Houston. And this is our Dallas project. So we're very excited about it. It prices very well to move the power to Dallas and ERCOT North. And in the presentation, and I won't speak on all of those topics, but there are, one of the items that is integrated into the 212 process has been a public meeting process, and on our other projects in these public meetings, we've encountered some of those questions, the general questions that we tried to put together in the presentation regarding the project and its impact to neighboring property values and just the design and aesthetic impacts and things like that. Those types of questions that we frequently get asked on projects like this. And, obviously this is a very large project for the area. Projects out in West Texas are around 600 megawatts, but for this area, it's pretty large. So right now it is planned to be 400 megawatts, as Mike stated. We have all the land in our long-term lease options. And the reinvestment zone that we're applying for contains more acreage than we currently have under lease. And the reason for that is one of the biggest concerns on our end are the mineral rights underneath all this acreage. And we have spent about 3 or 4 months, our landman has spent a lot of time in the courthouse running out the minerals. So what we have to do is we have to cure all of the severed minerals with combination agreements with mineral interest owners, many of which are not the surface owners, they're third parties scattered throughout Texas. So the larger reinvestment zone allows us, you see all the acreage here is owned by landowners that we currently have under lease options. So really it's just expansion acreage that they own, neighboring acreage that we could add to the project. So it allows for both the flexibility and design. Specifically with regard to the mineral tracts, if we're not able to secure the curative service waiver agreements on a certain mineral tract, this allows us to not have to build on it basically and avoid it because we're not going to be able to get our title insurance because of that reason. So a lot of the minerals are still being vetted by our land team, but we have on our primary acreage, the EC Rawson acreage, the 4K acreage, and also the Yancey acreage, we have finalized MORs reports that are showing that the minerals are unsevered in a number of these tracts. And really that just counts towards, the probability of success for this project. I would say that the 2 biggest issues developing in Texas are the transmission issues, which we've tried to alleviate by siting close to Dallas, and the mineral issue. As you can imagine, a lot of these areas that we're in, they may not have active production, but they certainly have severed mineral rights. And that's what a big risk item that we deal with on every project. So I wanted to speak to that a little bit. And then the interconnection, we talked about it last time. It's a 345 overhead line going straight into Dallas. At this time, we've tried to fast track the process as much as we can, the interconnection process, by doing both the screening study with ERCOT and the full interconnection study at the same time. So ERCOT allows you to do that by paying more upfront. We've tried to do that to bring in the project as close as we can to the 2023 start of construction date. So what you see as far as the COD here, the Q1 2025, I would say that's the most conservative estimate as far as our commercial operations date. It all depends on when ERCOT's getting studies back to us, and Oncor is the utility here. So can't really push them to go any faster, but once, what we've done is we've tried to speed up that process as best we can. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to start construction in 2023, hopefully first half of 2023, and then bring the project online in the first half of 2024. So that's what we're running on. I'd say that given the mineral situation on the majority of this property, the delays that would be caused from that side are minimal. So it's really a matter of the transmission side and Oncor studying our project and our impact to the grid, not only on the point of interconnect here on the 345, but throughout Encore's system territory. So that's a little update on the development. We're also this quarter, we've installed a met station on the EC Rawson properties too. So it'll stay on there for a year to measure the estimated production in this area. And then also we actually have Core Solar benefits from an environmental consulting arm in-house that we share offices in Austin that does all our environmental work. So environmental scientists, and they are starting the different environmental studies, the biggest of which is the water study. So there are some dry creek beds and some features moving through the site that they're going to need to work with the Army Corps on, and we're starting that process now. So we're moving along. We're extremely excited, and like I stated last time, we are not a company that's come into this area and set up 20 projects around Dallas. This is our asset here, our biggest asset, and spending a lot of the company's time, effort on making this a success is definitely our focus. So.
Appreciate it. Anybody else care to speak? For, against, indifferent? Ms.
I
Williams?
just had a question, we talked about in the budget yesterday, was about the 5-year look back, or might be, when does that start, if we lease these properties?
I'm not really sure. I know there's a look back because of the change in use. The base year for this agreement is 2021, but I would think a look back would go from date of completion. I'm not sure, but or maybe date of lease. You have an idea?
And then also in our lease agreement, so we cover all increasing taxes. I just want to mention that because we work through with the landowners, because obviously we're taking this land back, and we have to cover the back taxes.
In that case, it starts to
Yeah.
but
No,
it probably, we have to look, you'd have to look at when the property is, maybe when the property is put under lease. I'm gonna have to look at that.
It would start operations.
It's actually, we go through a couple of phases on this thing, we develop it. And then we get to a point where the funding for the project comes in, we call it notice to proceed. And in the lease structures, we transition from the option to the lease at that point. And my suggestion would be that
The date of the actual lease,
yes, it would become effective on that.
because that's when the legal use was,
Yeah, we
legal change.
prior to completing the project, or completing its development, we don't touch them. Our scientists may go out and walk around and make sure that we have all the various things that we need to achieve there. But at the point of notice to proceed.
Questions, comments? Floor is open.
I just have one, does it affect the financial budget? Does it make it hard?
Yeah, I'll let her.
I already the answer is, it improved in general. A lot of people put solar on the roof. What happens is solar gathers in the sun's energy, turns it into electricity instead of heat. Some percentage of it, they're not 100% efficient, of course, but what would otherwise have heated your roof or the ground in this case is being collected. About 22% of it goes to the electricity, the rest of it is unchanged. But the big impact of the solar plant is a 400 megawatt solar plant makes it unnecessary to build a gas-fired plant, and that does impact it. No, ma'am. We actually take energy out of the sun, turn it to electricity.
Yes, go ahead, identify yourself for the record. I'm sorry. Could you, I know you, yeah, go ahead. Thank you, Ms. Hudson, I appreciate it.
Ford Britt, I live up on Ford. I've been here.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry, I'm just hard of hearing some days. More nice to see you again, sir. Go ahead.
I just got a question, not like the other project where it was gonna impact me around my house.
Yes, sir.
This one, we're kind of close to it, but you're talking about 5,600 acres. And that whole area, the amount of wildlife down there, I mean, it's incredible. And a lot of people don't know that because they don't live there. They drive through and see the deer and that's it. What's gonna happen to all that wildlife that's gonna be displaced? Because it ain't coming back.
Well, actually, when we build a plant, according to state law, we have to allow native grasslands and whatnot to receive. We are not going to be sitting on a long, big white gravel pad or anything like that. We're sitting in the grass. We've got some pictures, unfortunately, we didn't have enough for everybody. But what we end up doing is the grassland that grows up under there provides habitat for the animals that were there before. And I can tell you from experience, the deer don't care about the grass.
Well, that may be true, but during construction, they're gonna leave and they're not come back. I know because I see that Lily project over in Kaufman every day. And I see coyotes, hogs, I don't think hogs, I like them.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I hate to interrupt you. If you promise to get rid of hogs, I'm gonna vote for it.
But I don't see any wildlife over there, and I drive it twice a day every day. In that project, it moved everything out.
During construction, of course, there are a lot of regulations, environmental regulations. We don't start construction during migratory bird season, which runs from about, I believe it's March until August, somewhere in that neighborhood. So we have to start outside of that so the birds won't come in. That's going to be disturbing. So there are a tremendous number of regulations that we do follow in protection of the wildlife. Part of our company does that for a living. And the owner of the company is one of those who basically comes in and we do the right things. I agree with you. During construction, we will come in and we will disturb that land. That construction period for a project this size will last somewhere between 12 and 24 months. And then the construction team will leave and the thing sits there. And basically it's silent. The panels pivot about 4.5 feet off the ground. They're quiet. They don't reflect. Put it next to airports, weirdly enough. And that environment, in reality, after construction, it does repopulate. Quite a lot of animals will come back.
Well, like I said, the project that we were up here for a year ago or something like that, that impacted me like right by my fence on both sides across the road and everything. I wouldn't know be a good neighbor, I promise you that. This one is not gonna impact me like that. And I know I'm being kind of selfish talking about all that kind of stuff. It's my place, not there. And so I don't have anything against solar energy. I think it's probably a good deal, personally. But the impact of the wildlife and the surrounding area, like I say, I've seen what that Lily project did over there. They're still moving on roads trying to get those fixed. And the wildlife is just, I'm sorry, I'm just against it. I wish it could be someplace else. I know you gotta have the transmission lines to make it work, but anyway, that's.
Appreciate your statement, appreciate your honesty. Thank you. Anybody else?
A question, when you do a solar panel, like a section, is it like 10 or 15 acres tract of panels? And how big does that get in one area? Before is there a buffer between the next set?
We tend to put them real close together because shorter wires are cheaper than longer wires. We bury all the wires.
Yeah.
So all you're going to see in the field, tube running north and south, and we put the panels on the tube and it rotates east to west so it follows the sun.
But how big an area is that? Did it be 10 acres, 20 acres of solid panels? Or?
For 400 megawatts, we're talking roughly 4 acres of megawatts. We would say maybe 1,600 acres, something like that. But that we cover about a third of that There's space between them so that they don't shade each other, and things
Yeah.
of that nature. I think we run brackets that have about 85 panels on them. Panels are about 3 feet wide. So I haven't done that math, but.
Yeah, I just,
We'll run
just
rows
want,
of these things, but they'll be in blocks and they have an inverter they collect and stuff one at once. But a lot, there's pictures of the presentation. Unfortunately, don't really in color show you the growth underneath these things. One of the biggest jobs on site is hire somebody. I don't think anybody's got a sheet. We actually use sheet in some cases. They like to go under the panels and get in shape.
Questions? Public hearing. We'll go for just a few more minutes in case anybody can work up a little bit of courage. If there's anybody that's not a member of Core Solar that wants to see this document, we'll make it available to you. It's the presentation for today. We don't have it as part of our packet, so we won't put that online, but we'll have a copy of this county judge's office if you'd like to see it.
And we'll be adding some more information on the project as well to our website.
Okay.
The website is there on our presentation.
Okay.
If I may, I'm going to throw in one point that I don't think we've made. Our commitment to our landowners is that at the end of the commercial period, these things they will be taken out. Everything probably 24 inches and closer to the surface will be removed. All the copper will be taken out and stuff. We will return that land to agricultural land.
I will tell you my personal opinion on this. Some people say you're full of picking up. I think that's part of my job as a county judge. I've looked into this. I farm in this county. I live here. I didn't like it when that PUC line went across the back of my place and I had to look at it. I didn't like it when they put that cell phone tower up and on my front porch now while I'm drinking my coffee and my cigar, I gotta watch that red light. But the deal is we're growing. There's more and more people on this rock that circle the sun all the time. They gotta go somewhere. And it comes down to my druthers is what I'd rather have. Would I rather have a bunch of homes and subdivisions sitting on this land? Would I rather have a windmill? Things look, I know they're important, but I don't like them. Or would I rather have a solar? My personal druthers, if I had to have one of these next to me, I don't want the subdivision, I don't want the windmill. So, because I think at the end of the day, looking at projects that we've gone personally, I've gone personally expecting in Falls County, Boston County, there is a return, there's a nature, it's green space there. It doesn't have more people, it doesn't have more strain on our social infrastructure, but it does add back to our economy at the same time. And I know there's grave concerns about parties. I've read them. We try to keep up with this stuff and address it regarding farmland. And I get that. At the end of the day, there are those people that own this land have a right to make those decisions. And we give tax breaks occasionally for certain things. As a farmer, I get a tax break. It's called ag exemption. I'll be the first to tell you that's what it is. So there's a lot of arguments for and against, but we're changing. We're always changing. We're continuously changing. You've been alive how long? 120 years now?
You're close.
There you go. Okay. Most of that Hill County. But you've seen it change, is what I'm saying, over the years. This place doesn't look like it used to. And our goal is we know things are going to come. We know it's difficult and we know not everybody's going to like it. We appreciate the honesty when people come out and tell us, we just don't like it. I get that. There's a lot of things. I like that. That being said, it's coming and we're trying to be responsible and making sure that we fully vet these things that come before us. If I felt the least bit of discomfort regarding solar, I wouldn't vote for it. But looking back at what it's going to be, is they're going to drive some iron pipes in there. They're going to use concrete and they're going to weld that up. And they're going to have materials at the end of the useful life are going to have salvage value. And it'll return to nature. In 30 years from now, there won't be a subdivision sitting on top of it. It will be a nice looking piece of land. And I'm afraid I can't say that about much of the rest of our county around here. So while I wouldn't want it next door to me either, I'm not going to lie to you. That's just straight. But if it's coming, it's going to be on my doorstep one day too. But I find myself today in favor of creating a reinvestment zone. That's just my 10 cents. That's what I'm
I like the revenue it generates for our county without taking out of our taxpayer pockets. I mean, as a growing county, we do buy stuff. We generate the money that we get here from taxes and homes and all this, but this is money, lots of money that comes to us to better our community, to better our roads, better our bridges and our infrastructure in general, without snatching it out of taxpayer pockets.
That all four precincts desperately needs to help get the funds to improve our county roads.
And let me make a point on that. You make a good point. I think the general public's aware, we collect two taxes here. One is the general fund tax, one is the FM lateral. If you don't have much to do this afternoon, stay around for budget hearings. We can bore you to tears, but we can get down. Oh, sorry, you guys have to. Anyway, right now, the FM lateral, it can't be used for anything but road bridge materials. We can't pay for people out of it. We can just pay for equipment, culverts, rocks, things like that. The general fund, the commissioners also get 8.5% of that. We only negotiate on tax abatement agreements on our general fund. We do not negotiate on our FM lateral ever. There's no abatement agreements on our FM lateral. We don't do that. We're trying to maintain approximately 1,000 miles of road in this county. And you have to look back, our high water mark of population here is 40,000 people in the year of our Lord, 1910. We fell off to 20,000 in the 70s. So we have a lot of infrastructure that is out there, your guys' roads, 1,000 miles you maintain. And we do it on a very small budget. We don't have the population that's had. And people move here to expect more. They don't want gravel roads and dirt roads and field roads. They want paved and chip seals. Those things cost money, and trying to be cognizant of the fact that most of what we tax here is family business and homes. And we try to keep those tax rates low. Your point about offsetting those tax rates so that we don't have to up taxes on homes and family businesses. Sorry, guys, you want to come to our community, you want to pay a tax load. That's the way it goes. But that's one of the things that's going to help our community grow in a proper way and responsible way. Anyway, that's it. Anybody else? Going once? Any questions at all? You got all dressed up? Nothing? Okay. I appreciate you wearing a suit and tie.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, all right. So which case, if there's nobody else, nobody wants to go twice. All right, this time, Mr. Dixon, anything further before I close this public hearing?
No, but I need to say something right now. All right, well, let me.
Your order, man. You tell me which way.
Here, after closing the public hearing, we'll have two decisions to make. One is to approve the order of Commissioners Court of Hill County, Texas, designating, creating, and establishing county reinvestment zone number 007, which you have a copy of in your packet. And the second one is to approve the form only of the proposed tax abatement agreement. And you have a copy of that in your packet also. Essentially, with solar, it has a statutory depreciation, straight line, 10-year life, has to retain 20% of its value in your starting value in year 10, and has to retain that for as long as it lasts. So looking at year 10, like $68 million, if it's a 30-year operation, so 20 years, you're going to be taxing a $68 million asset. During the years of depreciation, you're still pulling in quite a bit of money because the abatement is not total, it's just a percentage. So at any rate, those are the two things that need to be done after the close.
Just so everybody's clear, what we've got is, the first is discussion and action after we close this public hearing of the order establishing the reinvestment zone. And the second, we will simply discuss and consider the form of the tax abatement agreement. We will not take action on that tax abatement agreement or any form until the 28th day of September of this year. It's time for the public to review it, to give commentary, to give for or against on it. So that's the reason we have the waiting period. If there is commentary after that, we welcome it. That's what we're here for. Listen to it, to take hear what you got to say. So one last time, anybody else for public hearing this morning?
If they rehab it after 10 years, then we get all the taxes and the value of the rehab.
If there's no additional tax abatement agreement.
If they want.
The commissioner asked if they rehab it after 10 years, if they go in and replace all the panels after 10 years, what does that do to values? Do we
we'd have to renegotiate on it.
That's what I thought.
But because it would change the valuations. And so we'd have to renegotiate.
Yes, sir.
Here's Lucius with the ball.
I'm sorry. I'm bad about that. I apologize.
Mark Larson, superintendent, I asked Steve, I know that was mentioned here, I talked to Mr. Swenson about the project regarding the area of Itasca and Milford. Is 100% of the project, the school on Itasca, ISD, or portions also in Milford and or any other district?
Oh, my gosh. That's a lot.
All right, thank you.
Good question. Thank you, sir.
That's good, thanks for our text.
All right. Yes, sir. I heard somebody.
School districts enter into a 313 agreement with the company, and they get payments in lieu of taxes that are pretty substantial.
All right, well, at this time, let the record reflect, it is 9:14 a.m. and we are going to close this public hearing. The next order of business is item number 3, discussion and consideration and action on approval and designation of the county reinvestment zone made subject to the public hearing as county reinvestment zone number 7. That reinvestment zone is in front of you in your packets and vote for review. Is there discussion regarding the investment zone? Reinvestment zone, forgive me. This reinvestment zone list on page 3 would be called Exhibit A. That is the property owners, or the legal name of the property owners, I should say, and the parcels, all 22 of the parcels involved. And Exhibit B, the 4th page, is a map if anybody is curious as to where this is exactly located. Questions?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the order, the Commissioners Court of Hill County designated and created establishing county reinvestment zone number 7. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion will carry by a vote of 5-0 in favor. I'm going to sign the document here and pass it to the clerk of the station. The second document this morning, number 4 on our item, is discussion and or consideration and action on proposed form of tax abatement agreement with Hill Solar One LLC, and directed the county judge to send notice of intent to enter into a proposed tax abatement agreement generally in accordance with the form provided to other taxing entities having taxing authority with regard to the reinvestment zone. That's basically say this is the form we have that we're looking at signing in 30 days from today, that we will send notice of this on our website. We will send notice of this to Itasca. I mean, you're here, but I still have to legally send you notice. Send notice to this ESD1, ESD2. Hill College, I believe, is up in your area, and I think that covers all of our taxing. I have to send it myself twice. It seems so. Anyway, that's the people.
Right.
All right. So we're not approving the reinvestment zone. I'm sorry, the approved reinvestment, we're not approving the tax abatement, just the form of the tax abatement agreement, so that we can get it out in public for public disclosure.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the form only of the tax abatement agreement between Hill County, Texas and Hill Solar One LLC. Is there any further discussion, questions, commentary, additions, deletions, or just rather smart aleck remarks?
Or like the type of, it's like a 381 or 331.
No, it's a tax abatement. It's a 312. The 380s, 381s for counties are different. They're where we're granting county funds instead of just the payment value.
Again, this lists the terms. You go to Exhibit A, it describes the properties. Exhibit B talks the map, and there's quite a bit of information here. We'll make this available for public review. There is a motion and a second. Will there be further discussion regarding this issue? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion will carry unanimously. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, that takes care of this. Our budget hearings are the next item on the agenda. Ready to go? we can wait and move over. We have two choices at this time. We're about 30 minutes earlier than I said we needed to break, so if we think we can get the budget hearings knocked out in about 30 minutes, we'll do that. If we think it's gonna take longer, we can recess.
Sorry. Scared me.
Oh, what's going on with this? Hey, Mike, don't kill the clerk, we're gonna need it. I can, yeah, I can. What do you want to do now? We got executive session at the end for real estate. What's your? All right, we'll do that. That's what they're like the other day, we wait. All right, so let's go ahead and move along into our regular agenda at this time. And so we'll push through this stuff. I think that's hilarious. All right. So we have discussion, interaction, employee wage and status changes, and I actually sent that around by accident a minute ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I had the payroll in one hand and that in the other. And I kicked it over.
Oh, y'all want to get behind this money we don't have?
That's what I need right there.
For all the exciting stuff that we got to do.
Right.
All right, employee pay wage changes we have for this day of August 10th, 2012. Raymond Porter, he's gonna go inactive, will go on Cobra. And anyway, Hannah Williams with the district clerk's office, she was a temporary employee and we appreciate her help. We look forward to working with her again in the future. Janelle Allen, we wish her a happy retirement from the sheriff's office. Samantha Hernandez is leaving the sheriff's office. Kyle Cox has come aboard as a deputy constable of precinct 3. We have Juliana Pereira. Forgive me if I got that wrong. Who's a new hire in the sheriff's office. Julie Mangum is a new hire to the treasurer's office. There you go. Oh, it's just there. There she is. Oh, okay, good deal. Haven't met Julie yet, but never mind. Let's meet her. Tanis Federich, most of you won't meet her. She is the new DPS secretary. She's actually a former DPS secretary in another county and has come aboard. So bring some experience with her. Wish her the best. Miss Melissa Barnes, we corrected the wage change. We had a little typographical error there on the last one we did, so we fixed that. Martinez Lozanzo Cruz is moving along. From the sheriff's office, George McCurley is obtained his intermediate certificate. So congratulations. Mallory Harris. Okay, this one's new, not gonna lie. We've had somebody that is now a trained hostage negotiator. Okay.
A trained what?
Hostage negotiator. Hey, Mike, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Did you get
That is
everything
not
signed?
a job for me.
No. Mike, did you get
Tell
everything-
them I read that.
did you get everything you need? Everything signed? Good
Yeah,
deal.
the order needs to be signed and put in the minutes, and then the 90-day notice needs to be, or the 30-day notice needs to be posted.
Is that 30-day notice? Good deal. We're good. Got it. Thanks, sir. All right, I did not know that. And then that's what we got today.
Make a motion to.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. I passed that when I was doing the payroll a second ago. I wasn't one hand and one the other. Discussion and action on salvage surplus property. Somebody had culverts. We got to declare a bunch of junky culverts salvage surplus property. That's all we got. Salvage surplus is junk culverts.
Make a motion to declare.
Second. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. No abstentions. Motion carried. All right, on culverts, what our standard policy is, we have a contract with Frank's Metal Recycling. We haul them down there. So that's our standard sell on those. We skip 8 at this point. Number 9, discuss and approve monthly bank balance reports for July of 2021. We've already passed those around. Everybody get a copy of those. You guys got a copy of them? Any questions on monthly bank balance reports? I don't want to read the whole thing today. Thank you.
Second.
Motion is second. If you want to review them again, they're in your packet. And the treasurer's office sent out emails. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion carries. Number 10, discussion and approve a Hope Caterpillar credit application for Hope County Commissioner Precinct number 1. You don't have a credit application at all?
No, we have 3 John Deere motor graders right now. We're gonna the leases are coming up in the next couple of months. I'm gonna get 2 Caterpillars instead of 3 John Deere's, trying to save the taxpayers some money. Work is a little harder, but you know, it is what it is. I did negotiate these terms so that if I don't, at the end of my term, these terms will also come due. So that you can either, the next commissioner, if I'm not elected, or whoever takes over, if something happens, has the option of continuing on or letting them go back. That way, I didn't want to feel like it burdened whoever was. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes total sense.
Yeah, I'll save about $1,100 a month on each one of those graders. So you're looking at $2,200 a month in savings. They have a lot better service plan. They don't charge us for any, if there's a problem and they can fix it remotely, they don't charge us for that. It's just a lot better deal. I mean, okay.
Ms. Susan?
Well, are we approving a credit app or are we approving?
This is just giving us the ability to apply for financing or the leasing. Is all this is.
All I have in front of me is credit application, to answer your
Yeah.
question, and nothing else other than that.
Make sure we qualify for this. And I'll bring all the stuff before you guys, the nuts and bolts of it, to make sure it approves everybody's stuff. It's a good savings for the taxpayer. Yeah, I will have 2 units instead of 3. Yeah. So,
Make a motion to approve credit application.
Motion second to approve credit application for Holt Caterpillar for Hill County Precinct Number 1. Any questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry. Thank you. Number 11, written report, monthly report from fee offices. You'll have that in your packet. This is the monthly report from fee offices. It came in an email if you don't have it in your packet. And it outlines what we picked up in the last month.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
And by last month, the month of June, this is the month ending June 30th, 2021. So we have a motion and a second to approve the monthly report for fee offices, or observe and record the monthly report for fee offices. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 12, observe and record Hill County CPS Board Treasurers Report for July 2021. Again, the CPS Board Treasurers reports before me. They have,
They do a great job.
these are wonderful folks. They've got no $705 in public donations, expenses, clothing allowance, total clothing allowance, facilities equipment. They had income. They spent more than they brought in this month, but that's okay. They're still holding a very sizable bank balance of $67,928.69. They brought in $755 and they spent a total of $1,662 on those kids. So that leaves them negative net income for the month, but overall they're in very good shape and they're doing a great job.
Motion to observe and record.
Second.
Motion and a second to observe and record the Hill County CPS Treasurer's report for July 2021. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Number 13, discussion of approve Hill County Juvenile Resource Case Manager Officer Truancy Prevention Program. Gentlemen, this is a grant that we apply for every year. I highly recommend you apply for it again this year. This pays for a juvenile truancy officer, case manager, to work with the school districts and try to keep these kids in class and out of our courtrooms.
Make the motion approved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry. Give me just a second. These different school districts we're doing business with.
That's a very necessary position.
It really is. And we had a long conversation with him the other day and just how much more difficult life got last year with COVID and trying to improve truancy and things along those lines. Interesting take.
I'm still blown away that we have a house.
2 possibly good. 2.
Can I apply?
Oh, well, no, you'd be worse than me.
You can have it. You keep.
I'm the, go ahead and jump in and get it out of the way. I'm sorry. You wouldn't even get out of bed, you just roll it on the phone and go, hey, what are you doing? You gotta feed cows. If you need something to do, come ahead and feed cows.
Almost done, almost done. I'm glad this year they sent the signature pages separately.
How much you want to give us to take them back?
Well, we're not talking about mental health, people. We're talking about somebody's taking hostage, like if I was to stick another pin to your head and say, I'm gonna poke him in the ear if you don't.
Okay.
If I would
Go
remember.
ahead, we're done. Those are signed. All right, number 14, discussion and approve a road repair and use agreement between Hill County and BT Dudix Solar LLC. Mr. Austin Willis, come on up.
So I'm Austin Willis, I'm with Belltown Power. This is our solar project we've been developing south of Malone. Essentially, it's just an agreement for our investor is interested in potentially upgrading about 2,000 feet of County Road 3309 leading into the site off of the paved highway. So wanted to get a formal agreement with the county to allow for that, any improvements at our expense.
Commission. Okay. Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we accept.
Okay, things do today. All right, we got a motion. Our motion is second to approve the road use agreement between Hill County and.
I didn't read that one.
Solar.
Is it a good deal? Y'all wanna come over here on this side? Got some roads.
In which case, I'll call the question. All in favor,
They're
say
gonna
aye.
chip seal?
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions?
Hit 'em for it.
Hit for chips in. Yeah, yeah. I
Hey.
don't know that hostage negotiation may be necessary for people to shake it down over here.
You need to be the purchasing agent. You can whittle them down and.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Man. No offense to anybody else. in there.
You don't find out till you ask. I can make you a deal.
We got a good time. So, all right, anything else for us?
Nope, I'm just gonna.
You got it. Thank you. Discussion and approving our local agreements for the E911 database maintenance service and public safety answering point services. Gentlemen, this is the agreement for the Heart Texas Council of Governments. And this interlocal agreement that we signed on a yearly basis for our E911 database maintenance services and public safety answering points. You may know them as PSAPs. The services for the biennium of September of 2021 to August 31st of 2023. This interlocal agreement outlines the responsibilities of both the Council of Governments and the county in terms of providing E911 services to citizens in the county. The Heart of Texas Council of Governments has been good to us, as they should be, because we're good to them, and have provided us substantial resources over the years to answer 911 calls. So I have before us our interlocal agreement, and I recommend its approval.
Make a motion.
Motion and a second to approve the E911 database maintenance service and public safety answering point services interlocal agreement. Any further questions on this? I will sign this later. That's a lot of signatures. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry. Thank you very much. Number 16, how long is it going to take you to make your presentation on healthcare?
There's not many questions, I guess.
You got it. Discussion action on healthcare insurance. They have some good news for us today, gentlemen. I'm gonna let them tell it to you. You introduce yourself, the rest of the board, and then we'll talk. Good.
All right, I'll do it. I'm Brian Stallings with Anco Insurance. We put a proposal together on the group benefit plan here. And I think you're gonna be pleased with what you see compared to what you saw. There's actually 2 copies there, I believe, so I brought 7.
Where are you from?
I'm from the big city of Franklin. I don't know if you know where that is.
Oh, yeah, I know where Franklin is.
Don't hold that against me.
No, it
But
isn't.
our office is in Bryan College Station, but we have an office in Houston, Austin, Livingston. We're expanding into Waco. We have a guy over here now, so we're about to open up an office in Waco too. So we're hitting all of Texas, but we have clients in all 50 states and some abroad too, believe it or not. So I've been in the business 14 years with Anco, so work with a lot of counties, Robertson County, Milam County, we've worked with before, Madison County, Leon County, so I can go on and on. But the main thing I want to talk about is the medical insurance. Real quick, before I get started, I want to go ahead and get Rick Lynch with the Carlin Group. You know, I've seen him multiple times. I just want to get his little piece that he has to do with knocked out real quick before we get into this. Carlin Group and Anco have been working together for 25 years. So once you find someone you can trust and pair with, it's good just to keep doing business with them. And Rick and Sabrina help us out with a lot of enrollments in the county business. So just real quick, go through this and then he'll be out of our.
Yeah, this won't take long. My name's Rick Lynch. I've been working with the county here for the last 10+ years, providing voluntary benefits for the employees, which is a little bit or kind of separate from the health insurance. You know, health insurance changes so much in and out from a year-to-year basis. But this pretty much stays the same. In the past, y'all have had Guardian as a benefit provider for your voluntary benefits. And when I say voluntary benefits, what I'm talking about is like the short-term disability, the cancer plans, accident, cardiac plans, things that employees may choose to participate in or may choose not to. It's whatever they want to do. So, but everything will stay the same on that. There is one minor change on that, on the voluntary side of the benefits, up to about page 14 on there, or excuse me, 13, I think. The voluntary life insurance provider. Now, again, voluntary life insurance is a life insurance that the employees have the ability to participate in. They can get life insurance on themselves. They can get life insurance on family members, their kids, their spouse, etc. And this is life insurance that the employees get to take with them when they decide to retire, quit, something of that nature. So that when they leave the employment of the county, they know that they have a good life insurance policy, you know, in later years. Now, Texas Life Insurance has been the provider for this voluntary piece up to this point. With COVID, y'all have been forced into moving into, you know, more of an electronic version of enrollment. Last year, you know, we had to kind of scramble and get all of that taken care of from the electronic side of that. The Texas Life piece wasn't a friendly piece for that, where the Texas Republic Life Insurance Plan is. Virtually the same exact life insurance piece. It's transportable, portable for the employees. The cost is a little less with Texas Republic. It has a few extra features on it, such as accidental death and some things like that. But again, like I said, all the rest of the benefits are remaining the same. They're not changing. The price isn't changing. It's all exactly as it is in the past. We were just going to make the swap on the life insurance because the county is going to more, again, like to an electronic version of an enrollment. All of y'all are familiar with how we've set up in the library in the past, and everybody comes up and, you know, and it's a big deal to do that. Being on an electronic enrollment piece, that makes it much simpler for everybody. All the information is compiled, whether it's medical, dental, vision, all of these benefits, it's all compiled for the treasurer's office. So when it's time to finish that, everybody has that right there. And employees can go in and look at their own benefits. They don't have to call the treasurer's office and say, hey, do I have this plan or that plan? They're able to go online and look at all that information. It's just kind of the way everything's going for most employees. But that's the only change, is just changing that life insurance piece, and everything else stays the same. But we've partnered with these guys because they bring a tremendous amount of value to you. So we go forward with that. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Short and sweet.
So it's 24 pay periods.
We do 26 pay periods, that's correct.
So they just readjust.
They'll adjust that. Rick, did you get that?
What was it?
So they do 26 pay periods. It says 24 in the book, so just make sure you have. that.
Okay, yeah, we'll make sure of that.
We don't charge when there's 3 pay periods a month, we don't take out any.
So the 2
So
months.
we think it's right.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Don't start me. All right. Now to the hot topic, medical insurance. Everybody loves to talk about medical insurance. At least it's not Monday. All right. So we're gonna I'm gonna try to simplify this. If you'll pull out this sheet, it's folded. Kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here.
Get some people handed out.
All right.
Everything else, Sheriff, we have those employees in the county, so. Oh, could you do also with one stop this real bit? Anybody else?
I have more questions. It's gonna be a lot easier process.
All right, go ahead, sir.
All right, so we'll get on this real quick and hopefully we can make a decision pretty quick. So if you look at the column on the left, so that's your current and your renewal. So we put those side by side, so you can see what your current premium is, what your renewal premium went to. We actually, when we get into counties and whatnot, we use actuarial teams that goes out and gives us a kind of ballpark of what they anticipate the renewal should look like. The reason we do that, they're third party, they're not affiliated with us, they're not affiliated with the carrier. They give us an opinion on what they recommend or think that the group should see as a feasible renewal. It turned out it was about 3% is what our actuarial said that the county should receive as an increase over the prior year. So when we have that in our hand, then at that point we can negotiate with the carrier. So we have a third party that reviewed all this for us, and they recommend about a 3% increase based on claims, demographics, age of the group, all that good stuff that we talk about in the medical insurance world. So we go back to Aetna and Scott and White with this. So I have 3 plans here with Aetna. They all have the gap plan like you currently have with your plan that you're currently on. So it buys your deductible back down. If you look at the first option with Aetna, it shows your individual deductible is $500 like you have today, and your out-of-pocket is $4K. So we try to mirror that all the way across these plans to keep that in place and to keep it what you have today. And some of this, we've bettered your benefits, and pretty much nothing has went down in benefits. It's went up or improved. The first plan, the only drawback I see on the first plan versus where you're at, it has a $40 primary care copay and a $70 for specialists. Everything else being the same. If you look down at your scripts, you have a $10 generic, $35 preferred, $70 non-preferred, and you have a $200 specialty. You can see that is about 0.2% cheaper than you're currently paying. So that's a good thing. It's cheaper than current. So if we can talk in medical insurance and anything being cheaper than current, that's always a plus, because it's always how much did it go up this year? That's typically what we look at on insurance, but on this particular situation, this plan is cheaper than you're currently paying. So the county saves a little money on that. Now, there's not a lot there, but there is a little. The plan in the middle, I wanted to see something a little different. I wanted the copay cheaper. So on this one, I lowered the copay to $30 and your specialist to $60. That is the only difference in those plans. So I wanted to get that copay down for employees, because the majority of us worry about day-to-day stuff, right? That deductible only applies to us if we're having major medical surgeries done, MRIs, CAT scans like that. But day-to-day, that's why we lowered that copay to cheapen it up for employees to go to the doctor. It's $30 copay. And you can see the premium went up about a little over 3% for that copay being. So this thing, the thing about Aetna, you can pull and plug different things in here and increase benefits. The third option, what we did on this one, same $30 copay, $60 copay. I wanted the lab and x-ray to be covered under a copay in the office visit. So now if you're doing labs and x-ray, this plan picks that up under your copay in the office. So that's something else that was an added benefit. So that's why you see these premiums tick up a little bit, but we're adding to it, making the pot sweeter, if you will, when you see those premiums go up.
In all 3 of these Aetna plans, they do have something our current plan doesn't, which is they have an out-of-network coverage to some degree.
That's right. They have all out-of-network coverage, and it's a PPO plan. So you don't have to assign a primary care physician, and they'll get referred to a specialist. If you need to go see a cardiologist, go see the cardiologist. And the network with Aetna is huge. They're all over the place. So you won't have any issues with finding a provider in network with Aetna.
Tell me a good place you can stop in about 3 minutes. We're going to pick up shop break for 15, go
Okay.
across the road.
I'm going to run through these plans,
Go for it.
and then we'll stop and we'll go across and ask questions.
Sounds good.
90-degree benefits is the next plan here. With Aetna and Scott and White on the table, I wouldn't even recommend looking at 90-degree benefits. They pay on a fee schedule, so they have a negotiated rate. They go in, they pay a % of Medicare. Sometimes you can be balance billed, and it just for the county, it's just a little more complicated than what I like to get into when you have an Aetna and a Scott and White. Now, if you were looking at 90 degrees in your current plan, Well, then now we have a discussion. But with these other ones on the table, there's no discussion, in my opinion, when it comes to those plans.
Okay.
Scott and White, very attractive plan,
Very rich.
very rich. You can see that it's 4% lower than your current, 4.4% lower than current. It's about $500,000 cheaper than your renewal. So there's a lot of money there that's added in, that's cheaper. Your adult visit for your first visit doesn't cost you anything. Pediatric, ages 0 to 18, they pay nothing when they go to the office, nothing. So if you have kids on the plan, there's a handful of them that have employed children, 38, 11 have family. So there's a lot of kids on this plan. You're talking about saving them all kinds of money when they don't have to pay anything when they go see a doctor for their kids. Your specialist copay is $50. Your office visit copay is $25. So we're cheapening everything up and the plan is cheaper. You can see there's two plans here and you're like, well, what's the difference there? I mean, why is one versus the other? So the first plan is your excuse me, Scott and White Extended Network. So you have all your Scott and White doctors plus your Hill County clinic here in town, and some added, anyone in Waco's in network, so you have those benefits. The far right plan is their extended network. So when you get an extended, that's when you get your MD Anderson's, your other clinics. That's a Cigna-based plan. So you get Cigna's network in there. So you have a lot more doctors available to you. So Scott and White regular plan is the first one. So they can pair these together. So if the county says, all right, we're going to adopt this situation with Scott and White, you can continue to pay your cost on the employee only and save the county a good chunk of change just by doing that. If an employee wants to buy up to a broader network, have more availability, then they have that option as well.
So what you're saying is, all right, these two plans of Scott and White, we go with the HMO, well, it's a BSW plus HMO plan.
Yes.
And then I decide, hey, I got a doctor, it's an Indiana, I got a doctor, UT Southwestern, wherever, I need better coverage.
Yeah.
I now can buy from the county for $113 a month. I can then up my insurance.
Correct.
Okay.
So that gives you the option to buy up, and like from day to day, normal, I mean, everything, if you go Waco way, you're good to go. When it comes to Scott and White, I know it's that time.
Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take about a 15 to 20-minute recess here. We're going to adjourn, and we will come back into session from the backroom wheel tax office, New County Carter Law Courtroom. It's just right down the hall. We ain't
Okay.
gonna-
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We're gonna recess.
Oh, recess.
Recess.
You said adjourn.
Motion out of order, sir. All right, so-
You said adjourn.
I may have open mouth a lot, so we're recessed for approximately 20 minutes. Somebody make a pot of coffee, I'll need it.
Yeah.
I'll meet you right over there, guys. Thank you. Everybody. Let's go. Todd, step into the second.
Hey, you got the head.
Yeah.
Look at, y'all come back.